Okay, it says we're live, so we should be live. Minute past, I was just frantically, I was telling Jess, messaging Steph, saying like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. It's saying it's live. I'm assuming it is. And we're good to go. So welcome, Jess. Thank you for jumping on. I'm so thrilled to have you. I did an Instagram live with you back in the day, and you've done a few things with Kindship. I'm a big fan. I tell everyone about you, and I'm always so appreciative when I reach out and you're always like, yep, I'm in, I'll do it. But everyone, this is Jess. So you've probably seen her or heard about her. She has a few platforms. I mainly see Jess through Instagram. Her Instagram account's Aussie Autism Family. I always say mama, it's family. And Jess she just shares her life in such a real, raw way. And is just such a support for so many families out there, especially families who have children with autism. So thrilled to have you on, Jess. If you want to, just share a little bit about yourself, your family dynamic.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I'm always very keen to collaborate with you guys. I have a Instagram and I have YouTube. So I'm married, my husband Jordan, and I have two children, Jazz and Jacob. And mostly I share about what it's like having a family with a child who's autistic. And I love that I have created such a community that not only am I able to support others, they're able to support me in the same way. I think that this journey can be quite lonely sometimes. So that's why I originally started it, is because I was very isolated and looking for my community out there. And you guys have done an incredible job with that as well. Like, I think our values align so much. It's been a roller coaster journey, as like I'm sure everyone who's watching, that's the journey with neurodivergence is not a steady one, but it's cool to connect with people.
Oh, it is. And I think we've spoken before about that. When I initially shared our journey with Willow, it was just about sharing ideas. And I just didn't realize the impact it would have on my own well-being with connecting with other people. And I often feel like, looking back, I thought Willow got her first diagnosis at 7 months. And I often feel like, I accepted it straight away. Of course I did. Like, I just got in there and did all the things. But I realized once I started connecting with others and really formed that sense of community when she was about 2, I was like, I could breathe, and I was like, wow. So that that helped so much. So I feel like I could breathe. So we're talking about well-being in our Connect group. So that's been the focus for the month. And I guess sometimes it's really hard as carers. I know I've struggled with it, about asking for help. Some people actually don't have that help. There's so many comments I see coming through on Connect or posts about they actually just don't have a support system around them at all. I'm very fortunate that I do have some family I can call on, but it's hard to ask for help, but we need to. So what does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, I like every second person I speak to is going through that. So our family is quite supportive. However, we live far away from them, so accessing that support is the hardest part. So we are here on our own, essentially. We live 2 hours from family, and every so often we'll either travel to them or they'll travel to us, and we'll get the support in that way. But it has been very difficult. We moved before we knew Jacob was autistic, so that was a hard one in itself, because especially during that first year, I think people should be connecting with as much support as they can. And I just didn't have that access. And so we've built a good community up here. I created a little local support group for our local area, and that's been such an amazing support for us. We've also been very fortunate enough to get some NDIS funding to get a little bit of support there, which not a lot of people are able to get. So I feel like we are fortunate there. But yeah, that's kind of what our support system looks like. It's mostly paid supports. But yeah.
Yeah. So how do you, because it's been a question that's been popping up a lot recently about accessing support workers, or how to find the right fit, and how to feel comfortable with, and I know with Willow, like it's something that, especially when we were really struggling, I'm like, oh, we need some help. Like, but it's sort of, I'm like, where do I start? What do I do? It's such a daunting feeling, thinking, what if this happens? And so how did you find that whole journey? Because I feel like you have found some great ones, haven't you?
Yeah. So
yeah.
we initially, well, I was just in the very depths of sleep deprivation. Jacob's not the best sleeper. So that was really affecting our lives. It was affecting every aspect of our family. It was really a really hard time. He's still not a good sleeper, but we've got supports in place. So when we were starting out, gosh, that is such a daunting thing to have to put your child in someone else's care. Especially with him being non-speaking, and just that aspect of not knowing what is going to happen when he's out there with the support worker, because I think a lot of parents can understand that it's the most daunting thing you could do. Are they going to get all their support needs met? Are they going to be able to tell them if something's wrong? All of those things. We started off with a support worker coming to the house and just like being a part of our family. And I think that is the biggest piece of advice I can give, is getting to know them yourself before, letting them go, I guess, out in the community, or leaving them. I think a lot of support workers do appreciate that, and, just letting everyone get to know each other, and also being under the understanding as a parent that this person doesn't know your child to start off with. So let them have that learning process as well. Let them have that learning transition time, I guess, themselves. They're not going to get it right all the time. And that's just comes with the learning process, I guess. We've been with them for 24/7 our whole lives, so we know them best. But these people are coming in without any knowledge about our children. So and also looking into like their credentials, like their training and what experience they've had. I've also been looked into like support workers and their lived experience as well is very helpful to know. So
we actually when I was chatting to, because Willow's just so aware, she's really fascinated with people's disabilities and always asks questions like, do they have a carer, do they have this? And she's been adamant to me that she won't go to anyone else, like, don't bother, I will not be having a carer. And so I've said to her behavior psychologist, I'm like, there's going to be a time we're going to have to put this in place. So we haven't yet, but something that she said to me, for anyone else that's also struggling with this topic, that with Willow, she loves getting to know someone, like a younger sort of girl, and looks up to them. And she's like, what about if I found someone for her? And so she was going to help us. She's like, if I found someone, and she just started coming to appointments, because Willow thinks that whenever there's like a therapist who's training at university and comes in, she thinks it's amazing that they're there. She's like, what about if we did that? And one day I came in 15 minutes later and you had to play with her for a little bit, or perhaps she comes to gymnastics because she wants to watch you do it. And so we were going to go down that path. So then Willow, is just like, actually, I want to hang out with her. She's really cool. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, I'll keep everyone posted with how that works. But yeah, that's just something that we were thinking of possibly doing.
Yeah.
But it is, you need a break. Do you actually get some time to yourself, like during that break?
Yeah, I think it's more in the catching up of life.
Yeah.
But in recently we've had funding cuts as well, so that's been reduced. But yeah, it's a bit of a hard one because I'm like, I know I should be resting, and we do that. I know it's not rest, but I like to go to the gym. That's sort of like my me time, I guess. How I sort of take care of myself.
Got a little I'm not well today. How about you sit in there for me, Kate? But that's it. When you do get a break, you tend to catch up on all the things, which I suppose is good for you anyway. At least it's not another thing that's causing you stress that, oh, I've got to do this. But that comes to my next question. So I know that you have been going to the gym, like you said, that you are doing weight. So when did you put this? Is that something you've always done, or is this something recently you were like, I need a change?
Yeah, so it was actually the beginning of last year. I was very much before that in the mindset of I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I'm sleep deprived, I should be napping whilst, I get the chance. However, I really wanted to try something to better my physical health, sorry.
Yeah.
And so I did start going, and once you get past those first couple months of your body being in pain from the gym and stuff like that, once you start getting used to it, you actually get all these endorphins. And I know this is so easy for me to sit here and be on this side of it and go, oh, it's just amazing. Like, I know that startup is hard. I know how hard it is to get out of the house. I know how hard it is to get the energy to go and do something active like that, because our lives, can be challenging, but truly have had a big impact on my mental health more than my physical. Just I believe there's a science to it. I don't know for sure what it is, but it's like the endorphins that you get from, especially from weightlifting. It's not like weightlifting, but it's like, using weights to exercise. And it really just puts me in the right headspace. And, I can just pump my music and sort of forget about, well, I don't really forget, but, try and just like block everything else out so that I can have that time to myself. And I am here over a year later and I haven't stopped. So it's just, it's been really good self-care for myself. Yeah.
That's so awesome. It is like that though. You think, like, particularly us as carers, we're so tired and everyone's like, go to the gym, work out. And you're like, that's not what I need. But it really is. Like, it really is. I try to do something in the morning and like it's 20 minutes to 30 minutes. It's not much. I have a few weights or I might go for a little run around the block. But I do notice when I don't do it, I do feel frazzled, or things that come up during the day stress me out a little bit more than I think they would have if I just cleared my head and did something for me. So it really is so powerful. And I think it's funny, like, you're very sleep deprived a lot of the time, but they're sort of the times when you actually need to do it the most as well.
Yeah. I found
the more
it
you're going through, the better it's going to hit you.
I found like naps during the day just made me feel worse. And I just felt like if I swapped that out for, like, obviously I know how hard it is to find the time, and honestly you're never going to find the time. It's never going to happen. There's always something that you have on or something to do. And really, Jordan, my husband, and myself, we just really sat down and said, this is something that's going to improve our whole mental health. We need to prioritize this over other things. So sometimes there's lots of dishes in my sink. I'm just like, the laundry is piling up, and I will just automatically go, no, I need to go to the gym first, then I can tackle these things later. And you actually find after going to the gym, you're ready to tackle those things because you're just clear-minded, and it's
you're more productive and you're not stressed out about it. That's something that I've really learned to do as well. I'm like, no, everything will be better if I do this first, or even if it's not the gym, like if it's something that you've done for yourself, it just fills your cup and makes like lessens the load of everything else. So yeah, I feel like a lot of your followers just get so much inspiration from, like, you have so much positive energy. You do share the hard times, which like we all need. It's a breath of fresh air. It's not just Instagram highlight reel. But so you're helping so many families every day, but you've actually just doing it in a more professional capacity now. Did you want to share a little bit about that as well?
So I am a social worker, and at the end of last year, I started working for Wellbeing Systems. They're an NDIS registered provider, and so I am a social worker, and I work with families who have autistic children or neurodivergent children. And it's more of like that whole family focused support. There's so many different things. It's so broad, very hard to explain, but obviously this journey is, it's a roller coaster, and it often takes having someone there with you to journey it with you, to refer you to information, refer you to supports and services, help you navigate the NDIS, counseling, problem solving. Like, it's all a part of how I can support families. And that's all done through NDIS funding, through the therapy budget. And yeah, it's been an amazing thing. I have been able to blend my studies with my lived experience and my passions, and I just love what I do every single day. It's like helping people, which is what I did on Instagram and social media, but in a more professional capacity, learning things every single day. But it's such a different journey. And when you have someone who knows, what it's like to have autistic children, I feel like a lot of people benefit from that better, and have better conversations about that, because it's just you talking to someone who knows and who understands to a certain point. We're not all the same, but it's been a great opportunity for me and for a lot of families. And I do it via telehealth, so it can be anywhere in Australia. It's been really good.
A great fit for you. Like, just employment when you're a carer is hard, so you do need to find something that works in with your schedule, which is, I was just talking to a mum the other day, and she has a son with autism too, and she's in a new role. I'm like, how is it? And she's like, I'm not loving it. She's like, but he won't go to before and after school care. We do have appointments. She's like, at the moment, it's just what I need to do to be in that school hours and be able to have that flexibility. So it's amazing that you found something like that. And I think, like, people can connect with you on socials, or they can go in the Connect group. But sometimes we all go through really tricky, hard times where we just need that little bit of extra support. So I think what you're offering is amazing. So can people find that on your social handles? Like, if they...
so you can go to the link in my bio. There's a link to our website, or you can just message me. I'm happy to have a short conversation via phone or Instagram message, just to explain how I can help you and how your family needs that support at the moment. Some people have a few sessions and then they get all the answers that they need, and they go on their way. And some people have regular sessions and have been for the last 6 months. So I think people are really benefiting from it, and or their whole families are benefiting from it. So
I love that. So if you could share, like, I always think back to when I first started, or I see a new family member getting a diagnosis, and it just takes me back to that stage where everything was a blur and you just were trying your best to take in all the information. And what would you like, what's a tip or some insight or something you could share with those families that are new to this parenting world?
Yeah, so I guess a more practical tip is to get on the NDIS as soon as possible. Obviously, I know like a lot of people think that you need diagnoses for NDIS, but you actually don't. So hop on that as soon as you can. And the second thing I would say, it's kind of contrary to what I just said, but just don't be in too much of a rush. I think when a family goes through that diagnosis process, it can be such a whirlwind of emotions, of conversations with people, of therapists, of all these different things. And people think they need to rush into like therapies and get the best supports they can, which is important. I do agree, but not to the detriment of your mental health. And don't overload your children with all of these things, take it one step at a time. It is a tricky journey for a lot of people. And that's what I often am going through this with clients later on, years down the track. They didn't actually get that time to process their emotions at the time of diagnosis because, you're a parent and those, get pushed back to the back of your mind, and then you're focusing on what you need to do for your kids, which is important, but also you do need to process your emotions as well. So take it easy, take it one step at a time, access as much support as you can. But yeah, that's what
I love that. It's so true too, because it's like you get, well, I know I did, got the diagnosis and I'm going to do this and this. And you get people telling you all these amazing things that you should be doing. And yeah, you should, but it isn't a rush. Like, and I noticed like my husband just was like, yeah, didn't deal with any of these feelings. And later on it all surfaced. So yeah, you were so right on the ball with that advice. Just to be gentle on yourself too, and you don't have to feel a certain way. Allow yourself to process it.
Yeah, I think it affects the whole family in different ways. So yeah, just noting that, siblings as well, noting the siblings, and just getting the best support for everyone. It's okay.
I think everyone's used to that. I feel like I've always got one child home.
Oh, look.
Surprise visit from the husband home early. That's good. Well, thank you so much. I feel like every time I chat to you, you just have just awesome tips and advice, and so many people can relate to you. I love what you're doing, so I really appreciate you coming on and chatting with us all.
Thank you for having me. I'm always so keen to talk to you, and everything that you guys are doing is incredible. Just like the development of it over the last year I've seen is just incredible. And I know that it's such a value to families. I'm grateful to be a part of it.
Thank you. Well, I hope you have a great day. And do you have to work this afternoon or?
No, I have to go pick up Jacob very soon.
All right. I hope you all have a great afternoon, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye.